It's right in front of you. And you can learn from my mistakes. There's no point in getting completely schizophrenic, weird internet conspiracy. The best solution to this problem is getting rich, getting smarter, getting stronger, and getting out.
Welcome to a new episode of The Clown Show.
Okay, first off, Greta Thunberg is an adult. She's nearly 20. It's almost 2023. It's not 2016 anymore. She's not a child anymore. She's a public figure. So yeah, we can talk about this candidly. Hello, Greta Thunberg. I have 33 cars. My Bugatti has an 8-litre quad turbo. My two Ferrari 812 Competizioni have 6.5-litre V12s. This is just the start. Please provide your email address so I can send a complete list of my car collection and their respective enormous emissions. But for Andrew Tate, a snarky tweet soon turned into a global shitstorm. Yes, please do enlighten me. Email me at smalldickenergy@getalife.com. How dare you? Cue orgiastic, regime-approved NPC bot form. Yes, you go, slay queen reaction. This may well be the greatest tweet of all time. I expect the views feature to be removed after this public slaughter was witnessed by so many. Who'd have thought 2022 Twitter would peak so late in the day? Cue regime media rushing.
Anybody who thought that was a giant own, look at their Twitter profile. They have their gender pronouns in the Ukraine flag. Why is that?
In to take the victory lap. Greta Thunberg humiliates Andrew Tate after enormous emissions boast. Viral Greta Thunberg tweet slamming Andrew Tate quickly gains 2 million likes. Greta Thunberg says Andrew Tate has small dick energy and savage tweet.
Why is nobody on the left calling her a body shamer? That is literally body shaming. Don't you see how stupid this shit is? There's absolutely no consistency in their ideologies at all. And none of them even think critically enough to see that clear double standard.
Allahu Akbar!
Chat, the Matrix is real. It's right in front of you. And you can learn from my mistakes. There's no point in getting completely schizophrenic, weird internet conspiracy. The best solution to this problem is getting rich, getting smarter, getting stronger, and getting out. It's gonna get worse. I'm telling you now, it's gonna get worse.
Macho Man has small PP. I mean, you've got to give Greta, or whoever writes her tweets, credit. Normally, the pithier the response, the better it lands. And her response backed Tate into a corner with seemingly no way out. What's he gonna do, post a picture of his knob? It would have been the only response that was pithier. But you know what the reaction would have been? Oh no, sexual harassment! Then she would have become the victim again. Is he gonna get angry at a teenager for suggesting he has a tiny winky? Probably not the best idea. Is he gonna start making fun of Greta Thunberg's body? Oh, no. Toxic misogyny, body shaming. Can't win because body shaming's only okay when they do it. Clever, eh? Conservative men, please stop being creepy about Greta Thunberg. It's literal sexual harassment. Her talking about men's penises, though, that's not sexual at all. You see, they write the rules of the game. Then they hand themselves a bunch of cheat codes that you're not permitted to use. Yep. Only the left is allowed to be offensive.
Shout out to Paul Joseph Watson.
If Tate had gone pithier with his first response, it would have led to another regime-orchestrated, deadly, toxic masculinity moral panic meltdown. A couple of years ago, when she was legally an adult, I insulted Greta in a similar context to how she insulted Tate. Milder, in fact. What happened? They banned the video and hate speech strike to the account. The regime says you're not allowed to ridicule Greta because they've turned her into some kind of deity. It's only okay when they do it. We'll take a look at Tate's video response after a word from the sponsor of this video. So I've had Scott Mannion.
Thank you for the 20. My friend went to prison for 120 years for bogus trafficking, money laundering, and having multiple wives.
Allahu Akbar!
I think you would help share the wisdom of the war we went through. Can you help us? I don't know who you are. Get in my Discord, we could talk. If you want to reach my team, that's how you can talk to me.
And on my podcast, I've been on his show. He's a mate, and he's your kind of thing. We need to lift up talent on our side and get him to over 10,000 subs. So pause the video, and again, he would have just...
She replied by telling me her own...
This is the reason that he talked about this. This is the unmatched purse capacity matched with sheer indefatigability, making him a feared opponent in any realm of human endeavor. See, what a lot of people would do, and if he was actually an insecure man, he would have gone and shamed Greta Thunberg, called her an ugly, autistic, whatever. Would have went with a bunch of insults.
Bomboka!
Instead, he used it to platform the truth. But everybody's so quick to think, insecure. I'm telling you, he didn't give a fuck about the small dick comment. That's really childish level humor. It's funny too, like when you make jokes, when I say, when I call like the soy boys ugly and fat, they're like, you're so childish, using childish insults. Or when at Fresh and Fit tells Lasanabi that he needs to sit down to pee, they're like, childish insults. But then Greta Thunberg, the face of climate change, says, small penis, and they all clap. I'm telling you, Andrew didn't give a fuck about that comment. That's the chess move right there. Don't you see how genius that is? She took the bait. He casted a line, and she took the bait. smalldickenergy@email.com. And look, boom. Of course the climate also always changes. Changes every day. There's snowstorms all over New York. It was fucking 40 degrees in Miami. The earth isn't getting hotter. Arrested.
Email address. Greta's email address is, I have small dick energy. Why would that be your own email address, Greta? Strange. I mean, also, I don't want to assume her gender. It's 50-50, but it is what it is.
Note how Tate can only walk around eggshells with his own joke, despite the fact that it's on a similar level to hers, because only the left's allowed to be offensive, but then he landed more of a direct hit when he got serious.
So, I'm actually mad at Greta, right? Because she doesn't realize she's been programmed. She doesn't realize she's a slave of the Matrix. She thinks she's doing good. Someone has sat her down and convinced her to try and convince you to beg your government to tax you into poverty to stop the sun from being hot.
And that's the crux of it right there. The only way to respond to Greta and her ilk is to demolish the notion that any of them have the moral high ground. That's what really pisses them off. Greta Thunberg is the #1 figurehead for a craven, nefarious, elitist global transfer of wealth scam. An agenda that will impoverish the world and cause untold misery for generations to come. But yeah, to her credit, she's really good at dick jokes on Twitter. Liberals going after Andrew Tate for challenging Greta Thunberg with the line, how insecure must you be to feel so threatened by her? And you can't even call her that, even though she calls herself that, because they'll ban your content. Truth is, doesn't matter whether she's 19 or 91, she's dictating a global energy policy that will end up killing millions. People across Europe are freezing in their homes right now, because Germany and all these other countries became totally dependent on green energy. They shut down almost all their coal-fired and nuclear power plants. Now people can't afford to pay their energy bills, food inflation is through the roof. Our living standards are being decimated, our means of mobility are being banned. We're being prepared for climate lockdowns by the very same forces that inflicted the outrageous evil that was COVID lockdowns. Under Greta's green dystopia, the cost of living will be barely living at all, living on the breadline. In the coming years, this will exacerbate devastating levels of poverty. And guess what poverty leads to every single time? Death. And although she may be completely naive as to her role in all this, Greta is the figurehead, the totem pole. She literally
The George Floyd of climate change.
wants the entire system of capitalism to be overthrown. Now, I know its modern incarnation has got many problems, but generally speaking, capitalism lifts people out of poverty and greatly improves their lives. What Greta and her ilk want to replace it with ends life on a mass scale. Reference the entire 20th century. Don't make fun of her though, because only the left's allowed to be offensive.
I don't tell people what to do. This is exactly what you keep doing. You're acting like spoiled, irresponsible children. I don't tell anyone what to do or what not to do. I want you to panic. I don't tell people what to do.
I want you to panic.
I don't tell anyone what to do or what not
Time Person of the Year.
to do. I want you to act as if the house was on fire. I don't tell people what to do.
I want you to act as if the house was on fire.
I don't tell people what to do. This is exactly what you keep doing.
She's a contrived, manufactured fraud, being fed lines by her activist parents and handlers. I mean, look what happens when she doesn't have a script to hand.
Could you please tell us what kind of message, what you are doing here today, what kind of message would you send by doing this to world leaders? And also can I ask you, do you think it's about time that President Trump would respond to what you have said today?
I think... I'm sorry, what was the first question?
Bomboka!
What's the message you would
Yeah, she's the science leader.
like to
Yeah.
send to world leaders
Yeah.
by doing what you are doing?
Absolute clown world.
I think what we want to send is... The message we want to send is to say that we have had enough. And anyone else wants to ask that question?
You don't even know what she's just a pawn. A little puppet, bro.
I can't speak on behalf of everyone. Anyone wants to answer about the message to world leaders?
They act
Retards.
like she's this brave, courageous, anti-establishment activist, when every single tentacle of the establishment supports her every move. So that's the truth about Greta. She's the cult symbol for an anti-human agenda that will make everyone's lives immeasurably worse. She's one of the regime's most loyal servants. And that's why the regime rushes to her defense every time someone dares make fun of her. But yeah, good dick joke.